Today we're doing a review of the Evergoods Civic Daily Tote. In this video, we're gonna take my experience of reviewing hundreds of the world's best bags, and we're gonna tear this tote apart. We're gonna test the fabrics, double check the advertised capacity. I'm gonna give you my brutally honest pros and cons. And if you're not quite sold that this is the tote for you, you're gonna wanna stick around to the end of the video where I will give you 2 tote alternatives. And those alternatives will be close to this, but have some slight differences, because here at Nomads Nation, our goal is to help you find the best bag for your needs. Let's jump into it. Let's talk about the gist of the Evergoods Civic Daily Tote 24 liter. For those unaware, Evergoods is a carry brand from Bozeman, Montana in the US, and they're known for their signature crossover gear. And crossover means it looks good on a trail, but also wouldn't look out of place in a business meeting. It sort of is the best of both worlds. And also, if you don't know, Evergoods has created a bit of a cult-like following with their crossover gear, as they are truly, without a doubt, one of the greatest bag makers in the world, usually. Not all their bags hit the mark for me. We'll see if this one does, but first, let's talk about some of its top features. It's a big tote coming in at 24 liters, and it's made sort of bigger by the fact that it's got some structure to it. I'm not saying it's not collapsible, but there's definitely a decent amount of padding in this tote, which is gonna come with its own fair share of pros and cons that we'll talk about 2 chapters from now. We've got a long handle, a quick access front compartment, a quick access back compartment, a magnetic opening and closing to the main compartment, which I have some thoughts on. And we're gonna talk about that in depth 2 chapters from now as well. And then inside the main compartment, we got some decent organization and sometimes a rarity in a tote, a laptop sleeve. Now, as the name suggests, Evergoods is marketing this tote as 24 liters capacity. But here at Nomads Nation, we always double check those things. Evergoods is usually pretty spot on, but this feels a little bit tighter than 24 to me. Let's find out. All right, as you can see, we got the main compartment fully packed out with our factory grade measurement balls. And let me tell you though, this magnetic system to the main compartment is going to make or break this tote for you. It's different. Before checking the capacity though, let's double check the dimensions. We've got a depth of around 8 inches, a height of 12.5 inches, and a width of 17 inches. Now we're only gonna test the volume of the main compartment. Reason being, these 2 pockets are extremely tight when the main compartment is fully packed out. So we're gonna see what 98% of the capacity is right now. So, are looking at 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, I stand corrected. Evergoods was spot on. We got just under 25 liters capacity in the main compartment. You might get a little bit of extra out of the pockets even when the main compartment is full, but 24, 25 liters, pretty spot on. Next up is the weight. We're getting 2.5 pounds on scale number 1 and 2.6 pounds on scale number 2. As of recording, the CDT is available in 2 color options. Here's the bag when it's empty, and here's the bag when it's fully packed out and worn on the Nomads Nation team. Margaret's 5'2", I'm 5'8", and Jason Bagmoa is 6'1". And don't worry, we're gonna pack out this bag throughout the entire review so you can see exactly what it fits. All Evergoods products are backed by their lifetime warranty, and they have one of the best warranties in the game as to where they actually honor it on a consistent basis. And for all that, this tote runs around $200 US, which I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty expensive for a tote. But it doesn't mean that it's not worth it. And that price point is gonna be our North Star for this entire review. But if at any point during this review, you're thinking to yourself, damn, that's totally worth it, I love it, and you're gonna make a purchase, we do request doing so with the first link in the description below. Reason being, that link makes sure that you get the best price, and we oftentimes have discount codes. But that link also helps support the Nomads Nation YouTube channel and team, so we can keep making the best bag reviews on the web. Thank you very much. Let's talk about the outside of the Evergoods CDT24. First up is the aesthetic, the look. I think totes kind of just look like totes, guys. Actually, okay, no, I take it back. This is definitely a bulkier, kind of like dude tote. It's not your prettiest, more feminine, softer tote. This tote's got some balls to it. And that's usually Evergoods aesthetic. They have this sort of Bozeman, Montana, bearded, manly look and vibe to it, which is crushing for them. And a big reason this tote has that vibe is the primary fabric. And this fabric is an 840D ballistic nylon. Ballistic nylon is sort of a miracle material when it comes to bags. It's very overdone, like every other backpack uses this fabric. But Evergoods uses an incredibly high quality version of it, and it's very abrasion resistant. Not the most weather resistant. There is a DWR spray added to the surface, which will help give a bit more weather resistance. But overall, nylon is nowhere near as good as like polyester and let's say like X-Pack when it comes to keeping rain and water out of your bag. Nylon is good, it's just not excellent at it. Now you may notice we had this little patch on the bag the whole time. This does not come with the Evergoods CDT24. Our media manager, Margaret, picked this up at Suburban, our local backpack store. Shout out to Suburban. If you're in Hong Kong and you're looking for a great bag, Suburban's the spot to go, especially the Kuntong location. But that's one great thing about Evergoods bags. If you are into patches and bags that can accommodate patches, Evergoods is phenomenal for patch life. I'm not really into patches. Now we're gonna talk about all the interior pockets and this fascinating magnetic main compartment in the next chapter. But first, let's just talk about the general build of this tote, because look at what it does. Not that time, but wait. It's a very good self-stander. Boom, nailed it. 1 out of 3, that's impressive. But most totes will go 0 for 0 when it comes to self-standing, not the CDT. First up, just how much padding there is. And this is not your average like Trader Joe tote. I know those totes are quite in right now, but those are very malleable and collapsible. This is like decked out. Like if we cut into this, there would be foam all over this thing, which is great for self-standing, especially because point number 2 is it has this really nice fold at the bottom, which helps to create a really nice foundation, which means it self-stands exceptionally well. But it does make the tote extremely bulky. Like a lot of totes, you can like fold them into themselves and like put it in your pocket. This is not that kind of tote. And the last note for this section, talking about the outside, are these handles, which a couple things need to be mentioned. First of all, is just how beautiful its actual fabric is. This is a nylon webbing, very high quality, the same thing you'd find in like a seatbelt of a nice car. And it's silky smooth, which means when you're wearing it in hand mode, it feels great. But this silky smoothness does not have a lot of grip. So when you're wearing it in shoulder mode, you're gonna get a little bit more slippage occurring, especially if you're wearing like a windbreaker or a type of clothing that has like a smoother surface. Smooth and smooth equal, it's gonna be a slip and slide down your shoulder every time. I really wish that more bag makers put some sort of grip at the bottom of their tote handles. The only one that I've seen do this is actually Bellroy. Maybe there's a reason why they don't, I'm not sure. If you're an expert on this topic, let me know in the comments below. Maybe it doesn't last very long. But it's important to keep in mind because the other thing you gotta know about these handles is just how freaking big they are. I've seen tote handles of all different shapes and sizes, and like, if I can go into like some hardcore tote theory, I mean, your handles they don't have to be as big. Like think about some backpack totes that we reviewed, like the Bellroy Tokyo tote pack. I mean, those handles are just like up to here, you know? So I guess it depends. Do you plan to wear your tote more in handheld mode or in shoulder mode? Because I would say this is much better as a shoulder holder than it is in hand holder, but that also depends on how tall you are. Because I'm 5'8" and I'm wearing this outside, holding it like this, and it is almost scraping the ground the entire time because of A, the length of the handles, but also B, I ain't the tallest, dude out there. So maybe if you want to hold this in handheld mode and you're 5'4", it's not going to be an option. But if you want to hold this in handheld mode but you're 6'4", piece of cake. So a lot of information there. Overall, I can say out of all the totes I've reviewed, which has been a lot, 30 or 40 at this point, these handles might be the biggest. One last note about the handles too. To keep them nice and flush together, there is a magnet at the top, which means they just combine very securely, just giving you a cleaner carrying experience. Also notice no external water bottle pockets or external pockets in general, which might be a deal breaker for some of y'all. There are alternative pockets that are similar on the inside, but there are other totes out there that do have external pockets for your water bottles. We'll talk about those in the alternative section coming up soon. But before we do, I gotta let you know that if you're enjoying this little bit of a nerdy deep dive into the Evergoods CDT24, you might be a bit of a bag nerd. Or at least maybe you're just only starting to discover this world of micro brand bag companies. And if you are, I gotta tell you, strap in, because this world it's crazy. Because bags have so much utility to them. It's not like getting into watches where it's like, cool, I'm gonna spend more money on a watch and not tell any difference in my life. It's like, I'm gonna spend more money on a bag and immediately feel it. Utilitarian perspective on a minute, an hourly, and daily basis. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, you should know that here at Nomads Nation, we don't just do bag reviews on our YouTube channel, but we also have the Nomads Nation newsletter, which is where we sort of look out 30,000 feet on this entire industry and bring all the best information directly to your inbox. So if you want to keep your finger on the pulse of what's happening in this industry, I'm talking about the newest releases, industry trends, the team, like the Nomads Nation squad, our favorite bags that we're testing. and everything in between, be sure to look for this globe emoji in the description below. And there you can sign up to the Nomads Nation newsletter. I hope to see you in your inbox. Let's talk about the inside of the Evergoods CDT24. Front pocket, accessible with a zipper. Before you ask, because I know you're wondering, Aaron, what kind of zippers does Evergoods use? They absolutely use YKK. It's hard to see this one. Yeah, I can barely make out the Y and the 2Ks, which is good. That's what you want at a $200 price point tote. And then in the main compartment, we have Evergoods standard gray lining. Not my naming convention. I'm not calling it standard as in basic. That's their actual naming convention for their own gray lining. Standard, come on. Spruce it up a little bit, Evergoods. In this pocket, you can see we've got a key leash and some internal organization. Back pocket, though, does not use the standard gray lining. It's just a little sleeve. And then the main compartment does use the standard gray. One thing that always annoys me about Evergoods, too, see that sticker, that tag right there? It says designed and developed in Bozeman, Montana. All right, you can see right here, I got a bunch of everyday carry stuff. I'm gonna show you what fits and what don't. I mentioned this front pocket has no additional volume in it when the main compartment is fully packed out, and I stand by that. But as you can see, when the main compartment is not fully packed out, it does have its own volume. So a bulky XM5 headphone case, you can see it's not gonna zip closed, but from a width and depth perspective, it does fit. Same thing on the back, you do have some extra room to play with, assuming the main compartment is not full. This pocket's great for quick access. Pop your keys on here. Also be a good spot for your sunglasses, wallet, AirPods. Really just for your smaller bits of gear that you want faster access to. In the back, good slot for my over-the-ear headphones. Nice. Ooh, and lovely. We also have a luggage pass-through holder, which is underneath that pocket that I just showed you. And it slides on beautifully, which could make this a great flight companion. I have never traveled with a tote. I could imagine if you have a suitcase and a tote bag though, it's gotta be a pretty awesome 1-2 punch. And then for the main compartment, this laptop sleeve. Will it fit my 60-inch MacBook Pro? It kind of will, yeah. I wouldn't try to fit a laptop any larger than that in here. But as you can see, it fits with a bit of room to spare. 13-inch tablet. And then my tablet is not fitting in the sleeve. This tablet is 13.5 inches. Let's try our smaller fake tablet, which is 11.5 inches. Absolutely does fit in the tablet sleeve right there. Secured via Velcro. At the top, we have a zippered pocket. Just goes down a couple inches. Good spot for some backup pens. And then we got right here, it's hard to show you. We got this sort of water bottle shaped pocket. That's to where I can fit my 24-ounce Columbia in there with room to spare. Let's try the 1-liter Yeti on the other side. Oh yeah, ton of room to spare. The 1-liter Yeti is probably as tall as you're gonna get for a water bottle in the main compartment. And mine has a height of 11.5 inches. And then you can see in the main compartment here, we got a lot of empty space. There's a lot of opportunities for storage in here. So we can do a tech pouch, hard drive, reading book. This is kind of like Mary Poppins bag. Adapter, Evergoods Cap .5, great tech pouch. Umbrella on top with a hoodie. And yeah, this is about in line with what you'd expect with a 25-liter bag. And then closing it shut with magnets, which we're gonna talk about. As to where this is the most defining feature of this tote. The magnets go the entirety of this opening, and that's gonna have pros and cons. The first pro is just how satisfying it is. Like, there's just something about when strong magnets connect. And this is pretty strong, but keep in mind, it'll never be as strong as a zipper will be. And what I mean by that is if this falls over possibly and does come open, you know, like you just saw right there, like I obviously kind of yanked it open, but a zipper would never come open like that. So you're just opening yourself up potentially to more spillage, or at least an incident where the main compartment is going free when you want it to be not free. What's interesting too though is like these magnets are very strong, like airtight. So you actually can't like push out the excess air that's in here when it's in there. Again, like a zipper wouldn't do that. Yeah, it's just magnets versus zippers are different, dude. If this was a zipper, you just kind of zip it on closed, but now we gotta make sure the magnets touch each other. I'm not saying one is better than the other, but I think that it will really be annoying for some people who like to keep their totes open. Because let's say this sweater ain't here. The tote kind of stays open, but magnets have a tendency to sort of, you see, it's kind of closing sometimes. I think it might be one of those things that just might end up being annoying when you're trying to get in there and then all of a sudden it's just closing on you. See, overall you get the gist. I think that the magnets are very innovative by Evergoods. I'm curious to hear your thoughts though, like let me know. Do you like the magnetic opening? Do you wish it was more traditional, just like a good old-fashioned zipper? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Last note is just the overall comfort. Totes are gonna be never as comfortable as a backpack's going to be, but pretty comfy in shoulder mode. There's a bit of padding on these shoulder straps. Overall, it's a tote and it's fine to wear. Moving on, let's talk about the overall pros and the cons of the Evergoods CDT24. Pro number 1 is gonna be how well it self-stands. Not all totes do this. Pro number 2 is going to be the materials and overall build quality that you get with any Evergoods product. And pro number 3, I think the magnetic opening was quite innovative. But on the flip side, all bags have cons, and I'm gonna lead con number 1 as sort of a trail off of pro number 3 as to where that magnetic opening might end up just kind of being a nightmare for some people. Con number 2, yet again, a bit of a pro depending on how you look at it, is this is a very, very bulky tote. It helps it self-stand, but like it's just a lot of fabric going on and a lot of like just structure. And con number 3, I do think for shorter people that these handles are gonna be a little too long to carry the tote in handheld mode. And now we can take the pros and the cons and mash them all together for our overall scores. Which for totes, we skip comfort, we just do 2 scores, value, and the overall score. And it should be noted, these scores are just my personal preferences based on my experience with the bag versus my experience with other bags. For value, I'm giving it a 3.75. Now here's the deal, I know it's a very expensive tote and it's very niche and most people aren't gonna spend 200 bucks on a tote, but if you're in the market for a really high quality tote, whether it's a travel companion or for road trips, Evergoods build quality and the fact that they have a stellar lifetime warranty means that although this bag is expensive, you should get a lifetime's worth of value out of it. And for my overall score, I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. I think the magnetic opening might be a bit of a headache and handheld mode is a bit compromised, but that aside, I mean, they're pretty freaking good at what they do. And if you agree and you're thinking about picking one of these up, just a reminder, we do suggest doing so with the first link in the description, just because that's where you can get the best price, and if we have any discount codes, that's what it'll be. But if you're not quite sold on the CDT24, here's 2 alternatives you might like more. First up, actually, before I give you a specific alternative, if you're new to the Nomads Nation channel, you should definitely watch our Nomads Nation leaderboard video. This is where myself and the rest of the Nomads Nation team, we all get together and we let you know what our favorite bags are in different bag categories. And it's really cool because like around me right now, there's around 600 bags and the whole team, we get our pick. And we're always testing out new bags and seeing if our favorites can get, dethroned by a new contender. And this video, we update all the time to let you know what our favorite choices are so you can see what the best options are on the market. And I've gone ahead and linked that above. But if we're pretty close with the CDT, here's 2 alternatives you might like more. First up is the Orbitkey Daily Tote. Great pick for you if you're in the market for a great daily tote. They're both daily totes, and they both self-stand really well, which does give an extra layer of functionality, especially if you're using this as an office tote. As you just wanna pop it by your desk, it has all your stuff in it, it's easy to access. Orbitkey is a little bit lighter in its execution. It's still heavy and bulky and has that extra padding to it, but it just doesn't feel as heavy and as extra as the CDT24. And my second alternative is gonna be the Bellroy Tokyo Tote. Great pick for you if you're looking for a tote that'll keep you organized, but you want a bit more style to it. Not that Evergoods is not stylish, but they have their own style. Versus Bellroy has a bit more of a quirky urban aesthetic to it. And the tote, again, just isn't quite as like extra. It's a bit more malleable, a little bit lighter, but still giving you a lot of great bang for your buck. Honestly, all 3 totes are great. They all got their pros and their cons, and you gotta figure out which one works best for you. And to learn more about the 2 alternatives, you can just go ahead and watch these videos here. If you got any questions, be sure to let me know in the comments below or in the Nomads Nation subreddit. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Aaron, this is Nomads Nation, and we'll catch you next time.